In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a WordPress website like this with the Astra theme. This website is modern, clean, and simple. And I was able to easily put it together using Astra and a super easy to use page builder plugin called Elementor. We're going to be doing this in 4 simple steps. I'll show you guys how to set up your domain name and hosting. Then I'll have you guys download a website starter template to save us a bunch of time. Next, I'll show you guys how to customize your website. And finally, we will double check the mobile responsive mode for your site, which just means we're going to make sure it looks good on a smartphone. No reason to waste any more time, so let's go ahead and jump right into it with step number 1, which is getting your domain name and web hosting. If you want to build a website, you have to have a domain name and web hosting, plain and simple. A website literally doesn't exist if you don't have either of these two things. A domain name is just the address to your website. It's what people will enter into the search bar to find your site. So something like yourwebsite.com. And web hosting, on the other hand, is just renting space for your website on a server that's connected to the internet. Web hosting companies exist all over the world, and they have buildings full of these servers that are connected to the internet. You can sign up for a plan with them, and then you can rent space on one of those servers to have your website accessible online. It's pretty similar to signing up for a phone provider. The domain name is like your phone number, and web hosting is like getting service with Verizon or T-Mobile or someone like that. Out of all of the hosting providers out there, we recommend Hostinger on this channel because, in our opinion, they're the absolute best. They provide the most affordable hosting at their competitive prices, and their customer service is top tier. Not to mention, their tech support is always eager to help you out. If you want to sign up for web hosting today and get a custom domain name to build your website so that you guys can follow along with me on this tutorial, go ahead and click on that first link that's down in the description, or you can go to createaprowebsite.com/hostinger, and it'll take you to a special co-branded landing page that we have with them. From here, we can scroll on down to see 3 different plans that they have available for you. There's the premium plan, the business plan, and the cloud startup plan. I recommend the premium plan or the business plan because you get a ton of included features for the affordable price that you pay. With the business plan, you get to create up to 100 domain-based emails for your website. So it would look like something like levi@yourwebsite.com. You have their free unlimited SSL certificate included in your hosting plan, which is the encryption for your website. You also get a free domain name included in the premium and business packages, which is a huge bonus. You don't have to purchase it separately like other companies. You've got unlimited bandwidth to your website, which means that they're not going to limit your website's traffic or how many visitors your website can have at the same time. And there's much more. Now, you guys can make your own decision, but I'm going to go ahead and select the business plan and then just move on. Next, you get to choose your period, basically how often you want to make payments. I'm going to go ahead and choose every 12 months and go ahead and scroll on down to the payment section. You're going to be paying for all 12 months up front, so just keep that in mind. Also, your business web hosting plan comes with daily backups for your website. So if your site ever gets corrupted or you accidentally delete something, you have backups of your entire website for free. You also get a free domain name included, which is usually around $10, so you see that here. You also have domain privacy protection, which means they're going to protect your personal information like your phone number and your email from telemarketers, which is really nice. And then also the 4th thing is you have a setup fee that's been waived. Now make sure my coupon code is applied down here, and you'll see that you're getting a massive discount on your hosting plan below. Pretty good deal if you ask me. I'm going to go ahead and enter in my credit card information, and I'll see you guys on the next screen. This is the hosting setup screen. I'm going to go ahead and click on Start Now, and from here I get to choose if I want to create a new website or not. Next, I'm going to choose WordPress and create my own WordPress login. I'll skip adding plugins and templates to my website, and I'll also skip the AI text content because we're already going to have a bunch of content on the website template when we download it. Next, I get to choose the free domain name that's included in my hosting package. So I also always recommend getting a .com because it's the most common and the most professional looking. Next, I can click on Edit My Website. After this, you'll be taken to your WordPress dashboard. If you see the word preview in your website URL like this, that's okay. There's no need to worry. This just means that your website is propagating in the background, and Hostinger is allowing you to make changes to your website temporarily before it's even up, which is a wonderful feature. In the past, you would have had to sit here at your computer and wait for your website to be up and running before you can make any changes to it. Now, propagation just means that Hostinger needs to take the new domain name that you just purchased and send it out to every single server in the entire world and let them all know that you just purchased it and that it's live. Now, this propagation for your domain registration usually won't take more than a day. Sometimes it can take a few minutes, and so sometimes it can also take like up to an hour. So just be patient and wait for the preview to be gone, or you can just start making changes now. I'll go ahead and just skip to the main site after propagation is complete. All right, trust me, that's the last thing I'm going to tell you guys to purchase. From here on out, it's all free tools. With your domain name and web hosting out of the way, we can go ahead and move on to downloading a website template that I was telling you guys about in the beginning of the video. To do this, we're going to be downloading a plugin called Starter Templates. From your WordPress dashboard, you can hover your mouse over the Plugins tab and click on Add New. Now, plugins are basically like apps on your smartphone. You can download them and then they'll do some cool things. So you can think of this Add New tab as like the App Store, but for your website. We're only going to be downloading one plugin for this tutorial to make things a lot easier because Starter Templates will automatically download your WordPress theme and any other plugins that you might need when you download it, which is super cool. Once you search for it and find it, and it looks like this, you can click on install and then activate. Next, click on Elementor. After that, you can now see the library. Now, if you weren't redirected inside of the plugin to select Elementor, you can just go over to your plugins tab from the WordPress dashboard like this, and then click on See Library under Starter Templates. As you can see, there's a ton of free and premium themes available for you to look through, and they're broken up by category, which you can see up here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and go to the search bar and look for a template called Security Services. I think this one looks good, and when you find one that you like, you can click on it, and then you can scroll through the entire preview of the website. We're going to skip adding a logo, and next we're going to choose a color for our website and then also a font combination. I'll let you guys pick what you think looks best, but I'm going to go ahead and stick to the default and move on. Once you're done making those small changes, make sure you check all of these boxes except for this one, and then click on Submit and Build My Website. Congratulations, our template has successfully been downloaded and installed onto our website. You can now open your website up by clicking on View Your Website. Now, whenever we go to our new domain name, this is what people will see. All right, now that you've downloaded a template to your domain, I'm going to show you guys how to make changes to your website, like swapping out the pictures and text. I'm going to show you guys how to use Elementor and how to make changes, and then I'm actually going to go ahead and make changes to the website so that you guys can follow along if you want something to practice with. Now, this is important. We're going to be using Elementor to edit the pages of the website, and then we're going to use the Astra theme to customize the header and the footer. So think of Astra as being the top and bottom bun of the burger, and then Elementor is like the meat in the center. And so I'm going to go back to the WordPress dashboard. So I'm just going to close out of this tab right here and go back to the dashboard. Now, the reason that we're using Elementor to edit the pages of your website rather than Astra is because Astra can't actually edit pages like that. So we have to use a page builder plugin in conjunction with Astra to build your website. So that's the only reason we're actually jumping out of Astra to use Elementor. So anytime you guys want to use Elementor on your website, it's really simple. We'll just open up our website up on a new tab. I actually don't know why I closed it, because right here you'll see in the top ribbon there's a button that says Edit with Elementor right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit with Elementor. Now, if you guys don't have that ribbon appearing on top of your website right there, there's another way that you guys can open up Elementor. And so let me show you guys how to do that right now. We'll just close out of all of these pop-ups as well as the navigator. Back on your WordPress dashboard, if again you didn't see this little Edit with Elementor button right here, if this ribbon's not here, that's okay. You guys can go over to the Pages tab right here and click on All Pages. You'll notice that I open up everything on a new tab, and that's so that I always have a dashboard to jump back to. And I would recommend you guys do the same, because sometimes you'll be inside of Elementor and you want to jump back to the dashboard to make a quick change and then jump right back into Elementor. And instead of having to click on the hamburger icon and clicking exit and closing out of Elementor, you guys saw how long it loads. I would always recommend just having another tab to bounce back to. Okay, so from your WordPress dashboard, you click on Pages and it takes you here. And then you can go over to the page that you want to edit. So let's say the home page, and then you can see that it says Edit with Elementor right here. And so that's just two ways of getting to the same place. You'll see if I click on Edit with Elementor right here, it's going to take forever to load again. And now we're in the exact same place as this tab, as you can see. Okay, so now we're inside of Elementor, and all Elementor is it's just a page builder. We're not going to be using it for the header and footer. It's only the meat and potatoes, the center, if you will, of your website. But Elementor is really easy to use. So let me go over some of the basics. Over here on the right-hand side, as you guys can see, as I hover my mouse over all of these different widgets and objects, you'll see all these purple squares highlighting, and you'll see this dotted square over here, this box around everything. And so you'll probably be wondering what all of this is. Well, inside of Elementor, we've got three different categories or three different compartments that we build websites with. The first compartment is called a section, and you can think of a section as just the background. So as I hover my mouse over this background out here, as you can see, this purple square highlights all the way around this entire section out here. Can you guys see that little purple? So that is called a section. It's also called the background, I guess. If I were to hover my mouse over these 6 dots right here, you'll see that it says Edit Section. And then if I click on it, you'll notice that I'm editing the background. Oh, somehow I clicked on that and dragged it. There we go. But you'll see that I'm editing the section right here, as you can see. And so that's basically the background. If I hover my mouse over this next section right here, you'll see that now the purple square is around this entire area, as you can see. And here is my little 6 dots to edit this section right here. And then this services section is another section. So as you can see, whenever I move my mouse down here, it's all the way around all of this stuff and so on. You guys get the idea. This is another section down here. So inside of a section, you guys can place columns. And so a column is this gray dotted box right here. And so if I hover my mouse over this gray little square, it says, do you want to edit the column? Okay. Now columns will stack horizontally. So if I add another column, if I right click and say add new column, you'll see that it places the second one over here. So they stack horizontally. They do not stack vertically. Okay. So if I add another column, you'll see that now I've got 3 different columns, 1, 2, and 3. as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these other two because we don't need them. I just wanted to show you guys where they stack. So if you want things to be side by side on your website, you need 2 columns. Now, inside of a column, you've got widgets, which are these purple little squares. And widgets do stack vertically. They don't stack horizontally. So for example, if I wanted a picture, so a picture widget like this, if I wanted this to be next to this text, I would need to add another column. So let's try this really quickly. I'll just add a new column. And then if I click on this little Rubik's Cube icon, it shows me all of the widgets. So now, instead of putting a picture underneath the text like this, if I want it to be on the side, I need a second column. And now, as you can see, I can put my picture next to the text. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and delete both of these. I just wanted to show you guys that that is what stacks vertically and horizontally. So your widgets are vertical and your columns are horizontal. Okay, and that's it. It's really simple. You've got sections which hold everything, and then inside of a section you've got columns which can go horizontal, and then inside of those columns you have widgets which stack vertically. Now over here on the left-hand side, you'll see that this is the menu where you have all of the widgets that you can add to your website. You've got all of the basic widgets right here, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so there's 10 of them right here. And these are the widgets that you're going to use most of the time when you're editing a website. So you'll see that this is a heading text, and this is a text editor right here. And you'll notice over here on the right-hand side, if I were to hover my mouse right here, this is a heading widget. So heading is basically like a title widget, and then this is a text editor. So if I hover my mouse right here, you'll see that this is a text editor. And so anytime you have like paragraphs of text, it's usually going to be a text editor. So if you'll see over here on the left-hand side, after I click on it, I can edit like paragraphs of text. And then over here, it's a lot more simple. I just put in my title right here, as you can see. But if I go back to all of the widgets, you've got your basic 2 widgets that you use to put text on your website. You can put images and videos on your website, as you can see, and then you've got buttons. The rest of these are a little less common, but I mean, to be honest, you're using dividers and spacers all over your website as well. But if you think about a website, it's kind of like an online magazine. You're just putting pictures in the background, as you can see, and then you're putting text on top of it. And so as you can see, this section, we've got a background image, and then we've got text right here. And if you scroll on down over here, all of this is just text that you would edit on your website. Scroll on down more, here's some more text. Here's another heading widget as well. And so it's pretty simple to think of a website in this way. It's basically just a bunch of text on top of your background images. That's pretty much all it is, unless you put a video, obviously. And then this is a button right here. And so if I go back to the Rubik's Cube icon, you'll see that the button widget right here, if I drag another one, you guys get the idea. I can add just duplicates of this button. It's really simple. And then you'll also notice that anytime I right click on any of these widgets in here, I get all of these settings. It's pretty simple. If you want to edit the button, you would click on edit. And now I've got all the settings over here. If I were to say duplicate, it's just going to add a second one, like a duplicate of it. And then I can right click and say delete if I want to. I can also copy and paste, obviously, but it's kind of the same thing as duplicate. So we'll just delete that one right there. Okay, so now you guys have a basic understanding of Elementor. Over here on the left-hand side, we've got all of the widgets. Over here on the right-hand side is the live preview of your website that you can scroll through. If you guys ever want to rearrange your website, it's really simple. I mean, if I want this text to be underneath this text, you would just click on the little square right here and drag it, and you'll see that little pink bar shows where I'm about to place it. And so now I've got my text down below. Really simple. And so that's what makes Elementor a drag and drop page builder. It's because I can drag items and then drop them wherever I want, which makes it really easy to use. Same thing with the widgets. So again, if I click on this little Rubik's Cube icon, over here on the left-hand side, if I want an image, you guys saw me do it earlier, I'll just drag it in. If I want to put a video onto my website, I'll just drag this one in as well. And you'll see it load, and now I can place a YouTube video on my website, so you'll see the link right here. But we're gonna go ahead and just delete all of these. So we'll just delete that. And delete that. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys is anytime you guys edit any widget on your website, you'll see that if I click on edit the heading right here, over here on the left-hand side, Elementor usually has only 3 tabs. So it keeps it nice and simple. We've got the content tab right here, which is where you edit the content of whatever's inside of this widget. So as you can see, it's where we'll actually change the text. So it says better private security. Let's change that right now and say better, let's just pretend that we're a web designer. So I'm gonna say better web design. And just like that, you'll see that now my text has changed on my website. It says better web design right here. So under the content tab, that's where you can change content. Now, also, by the way, anytime you're editing text on your website, anywhere on your website, you don't have to go over here into the settings to change the text. You can literally just click right here on screen and start typing. Do you guys see this? So it's pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and just highlight this part and delete it because obviously we don't need it. So as you can see, anytime you're editing text on Elementor on your website, you can either type it over here under the content tab, or you can literally just click on screen. Like for instance, I'll click right here and I can start typing directly on screen, which is pretty cool. But anyways, back to the heading widget. We've got the content tab, and that's usually what's inside the content of the widget. We've got the style tab, which is the style of the widget. So you can change things like the text color, the typography. So if you want to change like the font, it's right here. And so you guys can click right here. And if it wants to work, there we go. As you can see, we've got all of the different fonts that they have available, and they usually all load as you scroll through. So you guys get a little preview. You've got the text size right here. So you can drag it, make it bigger or smaller, as you can see. We've got the weight. You can transform it to uppercase, lowercase if you want to. So as you can see, it's lowercase now. We'll go back to default. You can change the styles if you want to make it italic. You can underline the text, these kinds of things. You can increase the letter spacing, as you can see. I'll just reset that. But so under the style tab, this is where you can change things like the color, the size, the font, the shadow, anything that changes the style of the widget. So if I scroll on down here, you can do the same thing to a button. So for example, if I click on this button right here and I say edit, well, I right click on it and say edit. If I were to go under the content tab, you'll see that this is where the text or the content of the button is. And here's the link. So wherever you want the button to take them, you would just put in the URL right here. But under the style tab, this is where I can change like the button color. So here's the color right here. So I can make it wherever I want. I can change it to blue if I want to. You guys get the idea. I can change the text color. So like that red text, I can change that text color if I want to, those kinds of things. I can add a border radius, all of that. So that's the content and style tab. And then finally, if I'm editing the same heading widget, we've also got the advanced tab. And the advanced tab, the only thing that we're really going to touch inside of the advanced tab is going to be the margins and padding. And margins and padding basically just adds space inside of this pink square. So for instance, well, I can add or remove space from this pink square that's holding my widget. For example, if I want this text to be closer to this text, and I don't like how much space is in between the two, I can remove some of the margin from the bottom like this, and you'll see that I'm making it closer. Do you see how it just adds space inside of the square? So it's basically just to make custom spacing inside of your website. Same thing with padding. If I were to add some padding below it, I would add space below it. So you guys get the idea. All right, so we're not really going to be touching too much on margins and padding. We're probably not even going to touch it at all inside of this tutorial. But if you guys wanted to, if you don't like how much space is in between these two widgets right here, you'll see all that extra space right here. You guys could, if you wanted to, click on this, go to the advanced tab, and you'll see that by default, there's already 24 padding right here. You can remove that, and you'll see that it gets closer. It's completely up to you guys. I'll leave the spacing just because it's part of the template, but you guys can do what you want. Okay, now the last thing I want to show you about Elementor before we actually start making changes to your website is down here in the bottom left corner, you'll see the pink little update button. Every time you click on update, it's going to update your live version of your website on the internet with all of the changes you just made inside of Elementor. So it's basically like clicking the save button. It permanently changes your website with whatever changes you just made. So you'll see me throughout the process of building a website clicking on the update button quite often because it's basically like saving your work, and it's obviously a good idea to save your work often when you're making a lot of changes so that you don't lose them. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start actually making changes to your website, because at this point all I've shown you guys how to do is use Elementor. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is change this background image, because obviously we're not a security company. I'm going to pretend like I'm building a website for a web designer like myself. So I guess let's pretend I'm building a website for myself. But anytime you guys want to make changes to the background, just like right clicking and saying edit heading, just like this, or right clicking here and saying edit text editor. If I just right click out here in the ether, as long as I'm not inside of the column like this, if I just right click anywhere out here, you'll see that I can edit the section. And now I'm editing the background. Or you guys can click on these 6 dots right here, because if I hover my mouse, you'll see that this means, oh, it's not doing it. Let's try it again. There we go. Edit section, just like this. This is to add a new section, and then this is to delete the section. I can also right click and say duplicate section. And so now, as you can see, I've got 2 of the same section right here. So let me show you guys, you can hit the X button and it'll delete that section. Okay, so pretending that this is your website and you guys are gonna change this to be yours, the only thing you have to do is just change the pictures and text. For example, this said private security or whatever, better private security or whatever. We changed it to web design. So now let's change the background picture just like this. So you right click and say edit section, and we're gonna go to the style tab. And then from here, you'll see that I can click right here and change my picture. So I'm gonna go over to upload files, and I can upload pictures straight from my website. So I'm gonna go over to my Astra tutorial, and I'm literally gonna highlight all of my pictures just like this, except for that one. Oops, let's just go ahead and highlight them all again, and we'll click on open. And that way it's just gonna upload all of the pictures that I have ready immediately to my website. And then I can just add them from my media library. So we'll give that a second to load. It's almost done. Perfect. Okay, so this is going to be my hero image. It's just a picture of the guy that I'm building the website for. So we're pretending like this guy's a web designer. These are just stock images from the internet. So you guys can either do the free images right here, or you guys can go to unsplash.com and get the exact same images. So let me see if I can show you guys the same images here. So if I go to free images, this is integrated with, let's see, Pixabay, which is another free image website. So if I just say businessman, for example, let's see if the same picture pops up, just out of curiosity. You guys get the idea. You guys can use any of these stock images completely for free. But if I scroll through here, I was just curious if it would be one of the first results. Doesn't look like it, but you guys can pick a random picture. If you guys don't have actual pictures for your website yet, you guys can use some free images like this. So that's the first one. Or where I went to get my images is I went to unsplash.com, just like this. And so with Unsplash, you can go up here and search for whatever you want. So let's just search for businessman. And you guys can use any of these pictures completely for free on your website. So you guys can scroll through here. And look, here's the same guy. His name's Austin Distel, I guess. So you guys can scroll through here and see if you can find the exact picture that I did. It's in here somewhere, but you guys get the idea. You can search for whatever you want up here in the search bar, and then you guys can just download them by, let's see. You click on it, and then you've got the download for free button right here. You can also go to this guy's account on Unsplash, and you'll probably find all the pictures. But there's pictures of laptops here that you guys can use for stock photography, whatever you guys need. So anyways, that's where I got my pictures from. So if you guys want to follow along, you totally can. I'm going to use this picture of Austin as the hero section. And just like that, I changed the background, and it already looks like a completely different website because now the picture's different and it says better web design. So now it's not a security website anymore. It's a web designer who's got 15 years of experience. If you don't have 15 years of experience in whatever industry you guys are building the website for, you guys can literally click right here and you guys can change it to 10 years of experience, just like that. If you don't have any years of experience, maybe you literally just want to delete this heading widget altogether and just say better web design. It's completely up to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and undo the delete that I just did by hitting Control or Command Z. But you guys get the idea. Obviously, you're building this website for you, so you would want to put however many years of experience you guys have. And then we changed it to say better web design right here. This right here is just dummy text. It's Latin. It's just basically like a placeholder. But right here, you guys could change this text to say something like, you know, my name's Austin, and I've been a web designer for 10 years in the Austin area. Contact me today to make your online dreams come true, or something like that. Some kind of a little cheesy line right here if you guys wanted to. And then next we have this next widget right here, and you'll see that it says edit the icon box right up here in the top left corner. I don't know if you guys see that. So you'll notice that this is an icon box. If you click on it, it's pretty simple. We've got the icon right here, which is a telephone, as you can see. If I click on this, you'll notice that I have a ton of different icons that I can choose from. So instead of contacting me via phone, what if I wanted to do email? Let's search for an envelope really quickly, just as an example. And so now I could say, email me today. And so there's an email right here. It's pretty simple. So instead of call us today, you'll see that it says call us today right here. And then here's the title text right here. And then the description is the phone number right here. And you'll see that the phone number is right here. So if I were to change call us today and just change the text right here, now it says email us today. And then in the description, I could just put an email. example@email.com, because I'm just making up a fake email. So now you guys get the idea. You can change this to be whatever call to action you want. I changed it to be an email, but you guys could just as easily make it whatever you want. You could say Instagram DM me right now. And so let's just search for Instagram, and you could put your Instagram handle right here, right? So you could have Instagram right here, and you could say Instagram DM me today. And then you could put your Instagram at, so you could say at, there's our Instagram. So you could say at Create a Pro website, right? And then if you wanted to, you could even paste the link to your Instagram. So if I wanted to, I could go over here to Instagram like this, and then I could log into my Instagram account, and I could copy the URL like this. Once I pretend I'm looking at my Instagram account, and then I could paste the URL right here. And so now let's click on update to save. You don't have to do this to follow along with me. I'm just showing you guys an example. I'm going to click on preview changes right here, which is a little eyeball icon right here. It's going to preview the website. So now if people were to click on the icon, it's going to take them to my Instagram account, as you can see, pretending that I copied the correct URL and not just Instagram's URL, which is instagram.com. But you guys get the idea. You can have this link to whatever you want, right? But I'm just going to go back to a phone, and you guys could say, get in contact today. Here's my phone number. So call us today. And I think it was like, let's do the parentheses, 555, 5555 or something like that. Oh, I think it said 1555 secure 90 or something like that. But you guys get the idea. You just put in your phone number, whatever it is. So call us today. Here's the phone number. Done. Let's go ahead and delete that link as well so that it's not taking them to Instagram every time they click on the phone number right there. Okay, so now that we've made changes to the hero section, we can click on update to save our work, and we're pretty much done with the hero section. It already looks like a complete different website because you just changed a picture and some text. And so it's crazy how much you can change a website from its original template. Now, the last thing I wanted to show you guys, and I totally forgot, is when you're editing the section, so this is the background picture that we just did. If you guys don't like how dark the background is, you just go over here to background overlay, and you guys can drag the opacity right here. So if you want it to be a little bit lighter, you totally can, or you can make it completely dark. I think it looks better being kind of dark so that it has like it bounces off the text. It's like contrast here, but you guys can make it whatever you guys want, depending on the background image, of course. If you've got a really dark background image, you might want to lighten up the overlay. But anyways, our hero section's done. So now we can go ahead and scroll on down, and let's go ahead and make some changes to this next about section. I think it's basically an about section. So providing Seattle with superior security solutions. So let's pretend that Austin is a web designer in Seattle. So let's go ahead and just change this text right here. So providing Seattle with superior web design solutions. That's how easy it is. I can't make this up. So providing Seattle with superior web design solutions. And then right here, we've got some text. This is where you would put in your own about section. This is where you would, pretending we're Austin, this is where you would say something like, my name's Austin. I've been doing this for 10 years, providing Seattle with web design solutions. I do UI, UX design. I do, I work with WordPress, Shopify, all of this stuff. You would basically give a little about section. You could even talk about your history and say that I've been doing this for 10 years, but I started off just working on YouTube and then I moved into web design and blah, blah, blah. You guys can have your own about section right here, but that's what this paragraph is for. And you guys already know how to change text. You can literally click right here and start typing whatever you want. I mean, hell, you guys could even go over here to ChatGPT, just like this, and you guys could have AI write you guys your own about paragraph. You guys can log in, and then I could continue with Google. Let me go ahead and just do this for you guys really quickly. With AI being so prevalent nowadays, you guys could use ChatGPT. Let's say, okay, let's go. And you could say something like, no, it's spelled correctly. It's just a capital. Are you serious? Okay. Okay, so something like that. So write a short about section for a web designer for a guy named Austin Distel. Talk about how I use WordPress. I've done this for 10 years and I live in Seattle. And then just like that, AI is going to write out a little about section for you. It's that simple. If you guys don't want to write out your own about section, which I think an about section should be personal, so you should probably write it out yourself, but it's totally fine if you use AI, especially nowadays when pretty much everyone does. So for example, Controller Command C, I can literally paste this into my website right here. So let's delete. Control V, and then we can remove the extra space here down below, and boom, now I've got my own about section. Maybe I would shorten it by like a lot, because right now it's taking up way too much space on my website, so maybe I would take out this paragraph. That's a little bit shorter. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just keep the middle paragraph, because in terms of how it looks, it just made this section way too tall. So don't judge me, guys, but that's what we're going to do. So based in Seattle, I draw inspiration for the city's rich culture, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Okay, can we highlight the paragraph? Thank you. There we go. Okay, so you guys get the idea. You guys can use ChatGPT. I mean, I could even come over here and say, can you shorten it a bit? Can you shorten it to one paragraph? And it should shorten it to one paragraph for me. Perfect. So now I've got a comprehensive one paragraph. So instead of cutting this into one paragraph, I could just paste it like this. There we go. Now I've got my one paragraph, and I actually used AI to do it. So you know what? I'm going to leave ChatGPT open on this tab so I can bounce back and forth and add some text for you guys. You could even have ChatGPT write some text for you right here. It's completely up to you, but you get the idea. Okay, so this is our about section. Next, we have this button right here. So this is like, if you want to learn more, click right here. So let's go ahead and edit this button. And it's really simple to edit this button. First of all, the text is right here. So click here. By the way, this button right here is identical to this button right here. The only thing that's different is it doesn't have like this background border. That's why it just looks like text. If you guys want it to have a border, here's a little trick. You can right click and say copy on this one, and then you can paste the style right here. And so now it actually has a border. If that was bothering you. It also looks like it added a bunch of padding. So if we go over here, edit the button. If we go over here to the advanced tab, we can go ahead and just delete this really quickly. And so now it doesn't have that extra, all that extra space in the purple square. And then lastly, what we can do is we can move it over here to the... Go back over to the content tab to the left. And so now the button's in the same place, but now it just copies the same hover animation as that. Okay, which I think looks better. I don't really like just having text because it looks like a hyperlink rather than a button. But anyways, so now that we've made that change to that button, under the content tab, you can change the text. So instead of click here, let's say learn more, just like this. And so now they're like reading about Austin Distel. And if they want to learn more, they can click on it and go to the actual about page. And so if you guys remember, you don't see it up here, but if I were to preview the changes really quickly, Remember how we have a home page, a services, about, and contact page? Well, we should probably link this button to the about page. So whenever they click on this button, it goes to this about page where they can learn a lot more about Austin if they want to, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And it's really simple. So while you're editing the button inside of Elementor, the link right here, if you start typing the word about, oh, without that hashtag right there, Elementor is going to search through all of the pages on your website, and you'll see that we have the about page and it says it's a page, right? I click on it. It's going to automatically enter in my URL for the about page. Just like that. I don't have to go ahead and, go to the about page, copy the URL, and then bring it back over here. So that's pretty cool. So now let's click on update to save our work. And then let's preview the changes over here on the left. So now whenever a visitor is on your website and they're reading and they're really engaged in your about section, they can click on learn more and it takes them to the about page. And that's how simple it is to link pages to your homepage. Okay, so this side is done over here on the left-hand side. You guys already know how to click and literally edit text on the page. We added this through AI, and then we can click on the button right here. We added the link in text. That's it. We didn't even touch the style tab. And the reason we didn't touch the style tab is because down here, under the button right here, I just copied and pasted its stylization, if that makes sense. So you can paste style, or I could literally paste the button. So if I copy this button and then I paste, but I don't paste the style, it's basically gonna paste a second button, but you guys get the idea. You can paste the style, which is pretty cool. Okay, so that's this left side. Let's move over to the right side. Over here, it's just text. As you can see, if I click on it, it's just a heading text, as you can see. You guys know that you can literally change the text by just clicking here and you can start typing on screen. So I'm not gonna show you guys how to do that again. Let's talk numbers, or let numbers talk. Well, oh, that's a typo on the templates part. That's hilarious. Let's numbers talk. So let's talk numbers. Let's go ahead and delete this really quickly. Let's go ahead and correct that little typo. So let's talk numbers. And then these are basically just a counter widget. So you'll see if I click on this, you'll see that it says edit the counter. If I go to the Rubik's Cube icon and search for it, as you can see, it's literally it's its own widget. So I can drag it in here and you'll see it's going to add another one. It's pretty simple. Let's go ahead and delete this one. So I've got 4 of them here, and the way that they have these here is if you click on it, you've got the ending number, which is 15. As you can see, it says 15. So if you guys want to say 10 years of experience, just change this to 10. And now it's going to count up to 10. And it has an animation. So look, if I click on 500 right here and I change this to 5,000 or 501, for example, you'll notice that it counts upwards to it. So now if I change it again, it's going to count up to 500. That's why it's called a counter. Otherwise, I could just put in a heading widget like this, and I could just say 500. Oh, I mistyped. There we go. Customers. That way, as you can see, I could really format this to be identical to this if I really wanted to. I mean, from here, I could go over to the style tab. You don't have to copy along, by the way. I go to the style tab, change the text color. I could increase the size like this, and then I could highlight just this text right here if I wanted to. So let's go over here to the content tab. Happy customers. You get the idea. I could reduce the size of this text, make the 500 the same size. The reason that this is its own widget and not just a heading widget is because it counts up. So every time I make a change to the 2K right here, you'll see it counts up to 2. When I click and edit changes here, it counts up to 128. You guys get the idea. It's just for that animation to make it look like your website's alive. It's pretty cool. So to make changes to the counter widget, it's really easy. Just like I showed you guys, the number 10, basically anytime you want to make a change, look for it in the settings. So if I want to say years in business, if I want to change this, look for where it says years in business, and it says it right here. So the title, years in business. If I want to change this to decades, now it says decades. So I've been in business for 10 decades, for example. I actually haven't, because I haven't been alive for 10 decades, but you guys get the idea. So let's just say years. So 10 plus years in business. You'll notice that the plus is right there. If you don't want the plus, you'll see number suffix. There's a plus right here. Delete it, and now there's no suffix. Pretty self-explanatory. Even if you don't know how to use this widget, just look for what you want to change. So for the 500, if I want to change it, go find the 500. Now I could say 1,000. Perfect, and now it's going to count up to 1,000. So now I've got 1,000 happy customers. If I don't want the plus, change the plus. Maybe instead of that, let's get creative. Let's say I want a percentage, or you know what? Let's do that on the next one. Okay, so I've got 1,000 happy customers. Let's say licensed officers, because I'm not a security company. Let's just say I want to say, okay, there we go. We're going to guaranteed. Okay, so let's just say we want satisfaction guaranteed, right? And so now what I'll do is in the suffix, remember there's the plus right there, and that was the suffix. Well, so in the suffix instead, let's say I want 100%. So I'm going to put a percent sign right there, and then it's going to display the percent sign. So now, oops, now I put an F there. You can see that whatever you put there, it's going to display, as you can see. And so let's get creative. I want the suffix to be a percent, and then I want the ending number would need to be 100%. Perfect. So now it says 100% satisfaction guaranteed, right? And then you can see that it says 2K plus assets protected. So instead of assets protected, we could say something like websites created. So I've built more than 2,000 websites. Maybe I haven't built 2,000 websites. So we can take off the K and we could say 200. And then maybe we actually do want the plus. So it says we've built more than 200 websites before. Cool. So 10 years in business, more than 1,000 happy customers. We should probably put the plus sign back there because that actually makes sense. So more than 1,000 happy customers, 100% satisfaction guaranteed, and 200 websites created. Now you guys can put in whatever information you want. Let's say you're a web designer and you only want to allow 3 revisions. Then instead of 200 websites created, you could say revisions allowed. And then you can change this to 3. And then you can remove the plus sign. And so now it says 3 revisions allowed. And you could say that these are metrics for building a website. So you could say 10 pages, 3 revisions allowed, 1 week is the time, and 100% satisfaction guaranteed. You know, you guys can make these numbers whatever you want depending on what your business is. I'm just making these as an example for if I was building it for a web designer. But if you're doing AC repair, maybe you want to tell them that you've been in business for 10 years, that the, max consultation amount would be $10,000. So if the roof is too big, you guys don't work on it. Maybe if you're doing AC repair, you can say that you work on only condensers. Yeah, I don't know how AC works, but you guys get the idea. This is where you would put in your metrics right here. Okay, so this is the about section. I think it's pretty much done. You guys have already changed the button. We've changed all the numbers, the text, and everything. We can go ahead and move on down to the next section, which is services. So for services, this is pretty self-explanatory. You're just showing off all of the different services that you provide. And you'll notice that every time I click on one of these pictures, I can literally click right here and change the picture. Super easy to do. So let's go ahead and change all 6 of these. The first thing is I'll change the first one, and then the others I'll just change off camera really quickly just to save you guys some time because it'll be the same thing. So changing the first one, if I want to change the picture, I click on it and I can literally change it to be, as you can see, let's just make it a laptop. Okay, so now it says Access Solutions, and here's a picture of a laptop. So instead of that, let's go ahead and change this. As you can see, if I want to change Access Solutions, I would look for it over here, and it's right here. If I want to change the paragraph, I would look for it over here, and I found it, right? It's pretty self-explanatory anytime you guys want to make changes to anything on your website. So, for example, Access Solutions, we can say Web Design Solutions, right? And then I can change this next one, for example, and let's do this one right here. And then we could change this to something else. Let's just come up with something. UI, UX design, or UX, UI design, right? And then let's change the next one over here. I'm going to start going a little bit faster. I'm literally making things up as I go, by the way. These aren't actual services that you would really provide as some of them are and some of them aren't. I'm just kind of pulling this out just to put something down on the paper. You guys would want to actually obviously put your real services here. So now I'm just going to click on this one. Let's just change these pictures really quickly because this is taking too long. I'm going a little bit faster, but I'm still only making the same changes. Source code management. I don't know. I'm just coming up with random stuff. Let's click on this one. Mobile responsive designs. And then this one, let's just say something like, I don't know, content planning and preparation, something like that. Again, fake services. I just wanted to put something that was a little bit more web designer-esque into these pictures here. But you guys get the idea. If you guys were a lawn care company, you would probably have a picture of a lawnmower and say you guys do regular lawn mowing. You'd have a picture of a weed eater and then say you guys do edging, like weeding to cut out the lines in the lawn so that the grass isn't growing over the sidewalk. Then you would have a picture of a leaf blower and say we also do leaf blowing so that you can, have a clean driveway, and so on. If you guys were an AC repair company, you guys would probably put a picture of AC unit right here and say AC repair. And then you have a picture of a couple of guys in hard hats and say we do consultations. And then you have another picture of, I don't know, an attic, like the inside of an attic. And then you guys would say that you guys go up there and do installations. You guys get the idea. You would put in your own services right here. But of course, we're following along with the web design. So from here, you guys already know how to change text on the website. So I'm not going to show you guys again, but you guys could change from saying our services. You could just say services if you wanted to, so you can just delete that. Completely up to you. And then you guys would change this text, whether you want to type something out that's just a quick one-liner, or you could go over to ChatGPT and say, write me a little intro sentence for a service section or something like that. Whatever you guys want to do. Next, we have this button right here, so we'll click on it, and we obviously want it to go to the services page, so let's go ahead and type out services. And you'll see that we have the page, and it's a services page, automatically going to enter in the URL, just like that. Super simple. You can change the text if you want to, but it kind of makes sense. View all services, and then when they click on it, it's going to go to the services page. So there's no point in really changing that up. All right, I think that section's done. I'm going to click on update in the bottom left corner and move on down. So next we have kind of like a promotional section where it says, why would you want to choose us? What sets us apart? And so they've got just a bunch of promo, I don't know, like not price points, but you guys get the idea, like promotional points that they want to point out. So for this security company, they're saying that we do perfection anytime, 24/7 communication. The fleet is massive. We use advanced technology, emergency help whenever you need it, and we used licensed personnel. So it's all professional and, error-free or whatever you guys want to call it. So you guys get the idea. This is where you would want to put in your promotional points. So for a web designer, maybe we want to say perfection anytime is perfectly fine, because you can contact me whenever you want and I can have a website up and running very quickly. 24/7 communication, I'm going to leave that one as well. Our fleet, let's go ahead and change this one. So we could obviously change the text. Okay, so let's say unlimited revisions. There we go. Okay, so we've got, let's say, unlimited revisions. I know that this is counterintuitive to what I just put up here, 3 revisions allowed. Let's just pretend that this web designer provides unlimited. So I don't even know if you can put the infinity sign right here, but let's just pretend that this doesn't exist right here. And we'll come on down and we'll say that one of the things that sets me apart from other web designers is I'm not going to stop you from making changes to your website. Who am I to do that? I allow you unlimited revisions, right? So let's click back here. So instead of a car, maybe we want something like I don't know. Let's see what we have here. A full circle maybe, or maybe we have like 2 arrows that are circling each other. Let's see what we have here. I'm going to search for arrow. I mean, we could go as simple as this, like this. So unlimited revisions and there's an arrow if you wanted to, but I'm looking for more of like a circle or like repeat. Let's search for repeat. Here we go. Perfect. Unlimited visions. That's kind of more of what I was looking for. So anytime you want me to redo something, I'll come back and do it for you. Perfect. Okay, emergency help. We obviously don't do emergency help, but let's just do something like tech support, I guess. And we can do this, and we can do a phone call. Let's do a headset, because that would be a little bit more intuitive for like tech support, because you're on the phone with someone. So tech support. And then in this little paragraph down here, you would say, anytime your website goes down or anytime you have a problem, contact me and I will log in and make changes to your website. So that could be tech support, advanced technology we're going to leave, and then licensed officer, we can say licensed web designer, I guess. So let's just say I've got a team of licensed professional web designers of some kind. I don't know. So you guys get the idea. You guys can change the icon by just clicking right here. You can change the text and then the description. And so you'll be kind of creative. So for example, for 24/7 communication, you would want some kind of an icon right here that would exude communicative idea, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So then you would come over here, for example, 24/7 communication. These text bubbles are perfect, but maybe instead for 24/7 communication, you could have a person. Whichever one this one is. I thought this would be a person. What is this one? Oh, a user tie? Okay, that's weird. But for example, you would say a user tie or something like that. Or if you say that you do video Zoom calls, then you would probably want to use a video icon right here. You guys get the idea. Whatever the service that you're trying to show off, you would probably want an icon that would make sense for that service. So anyways, that is y'all's little promotional section. Let's go ahead and change the background image because we don't want police officers in the back of a web design website because that doesn't make any sense. So again, I said right-click edit section. I go to the style tab, just like we did for the hero section. And this time I'm going to use like these office buildings. And so I think that looks a little bit more professional. So what sets us apart? All of these things. Okay, scroll on down and next we have the testimonial section. Testimonials, obviously you don't make up. You're going to do work for people and then as they're satisfied with your work, they will come back and you can have them email you or you can record a video of them saying what they want to say. There's lots of different ways to do testimonials, but if they were to email you or leave a review on your website, you can come in here and go ahead and enter in whatever they said. So you would ask them, hey, can you send me an email with a picture of you and just say, you know, give me a testimonial. How did you guys like the website that I built for you? And then they send you an email, they give you a picture, and so you would upload it from your website. You'd select the file, right? Same thing. And so you would download their picture and then upload it to your website, just like this. But I'm going to use this profile picture that's already coming with the default template. So you'd paste in their picture, and that's how you would do it. And then you can change their name. So instead of Tony Hawk, the skateboarder, you could say someone like John Smith. All right, that's how you change the name. And then you can change their title. So you could say that John Smith has an AC repair company and I built his AC repair website. And then you can actually put what he said. So this is where you would put in the text and say, you know, Levi built a fantastic website and he did such a great job and he did it for such an affordable price, blah, 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 right? You guys get the idea. Control, Alt, Delete. Wow. Okay, we're actually just going to copy this text. I thought I could just undo, but we can't. So we're going to paste it right here. Okay, there's some dummy text. You guys get the idea. This is where you would copy and paste the actual testimonial that they gave you guys. So really easy to do. And then if you guys have more testimonials than just 3, you could probably build like your own testimonial page. So if I click on update to save my work, this is more of a future example, but after your business takes off and you guys have more than 3 testimonials, you could either build a whole other page. So similar to these, you could have one that says testimonials or customer reviews, and then you could link it to this button. So then if they want to view more, they would click on this button and it would take them to that new page. Or you guys could just duplicate these 3, put it right below. So put 3 more. And then you guys could just continue to make more and more testimonials. So it's whatever you guys want to do. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as 3 because that's what comes with the template. Okay, so scrolling on down, finally, we have the, I guess, request info. This is like a contact section. So for this contact section, instead of request info, you guys can change the text to whatever you want. I'll let you guys change all of this text as well. It's very self-explanatory. You guys know how to do it. Down below, we've got an icon list. So it looks like these are probably more just like you click on it. Yeah, so if I were to click on these, does it like do a drop-down arrow or something? No? Oh, okay. No, it's just like they wanted bullet points to say, you know, maybe it says something like, we're open 24/7, we're always ready to do business, here's our email, here's our phone number. So if you guys want to change these, you would literally come over here, you'll see that it's an icon list. It's really easy to edit. You'll see the first one is tell us, Mattis Polvinar. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but whatever. So we'll see tell us right here. If you click on it, you can change the text. So let's just say 24/7 support. All right, the next one, we could say something like this. Okay, so the next one we could say there's our phone number, and then the next one we could make our email, example@email.com, and then the last one could be like our address. There we go. So something like that. So you guys get the idea. You guys can change these bullet points to be whatever you want. You can rearrange them by dragging them like this. So now the address is on top. You can duplicate by clicking like this, and now I've got 2. You can remove by clicking on the X, and then you can add a brand new item if you want to. But now you'll see that the icon is different, so I would have to go over here and select the same little caret icon. I think it was this one. Nope, it's a different one, but you guys get the idea. Instead of doing that, of adding a new item, I would just duplicate and then just change the text right here. That's what I would do. But anyways, that's how you guys can use the icon list that's right here. And then over here on the right-hand side is your contact form. So the contact form is something that you do not edit inside of Elementor. So let me show you guys where you can make changes to this. We'll click on update to save our work really quickly. We're gonna go bounce back to the WordPress dashboard to make some changes to this. If you guys don't have a WordPress dashboard open on a new tab like I told you guys to do, that's totally okay. From here, you'll click on the hamburger icon in the top left corner. You'll say exit, and then it's gonna ask, where do you wanna go? And so you'll say, I wanna go to my WordPress dashboard, apply. And then it's gonna exit out of Elementor. So make sure you saved your work. But again, that's why I always have a WordPress dashboard available for me to go back to so that I don't have to exit out of Elementor. So I'm gonna open up Elementor again. We'll go back down to the contact form. Okay, so on our WordPress dashboard, we're gonna go over to WP Forms, which stands for WordPress Forms. This is an additional plugin that gets installed to your website. So let me just open this up on a new tab, All Forms. You'll see that there's only one contact form, but you have a list. You could create multiple. It says get a quote. So we're gonna edit this contact form inside of the plugin. And you'll see that inside of Elementor, we've got name, email, company, message. And then right here, we've got name, email, company, message. If I were to switch email and company like this, and then click on save, I could go back to Elementor and refresh the page really quickly. And then you'll see that now it says name, company, email, message. Right? So that's how you guys can change the order of your contact form. Let's go ahead and put email back on top. You guys can add fields over here. So if you want to add another name field like this, you guys can add fields. You can delete them by clicking on the trash can icon like this. For example, if I wanted to add a phone number field, I could add a number field like this. So I could say name, number, and email. So the phone number, instead of saying numbers, I could say phone number. So you click on the field, and that's where you can edit it. So this is adding fields, and this is field options right here. So if I want to click on it, I'm changing it now. So I could say phone number. So now it says name, phone number, email, company, message. If I want to make it a required field like this asterisk right here, I could just click on the required button. And so now this is another required field. And then I could go to the advanced tab and I can change the placeholder text, which as you can see, it says full name right here, phone number. I could say phone number. So it says email, email address, phone number, right? So maybe instead of phone number, this would just say phone. So name, full name, phone number, email address. You guys kind of get the trend that's going along here. So that's completely up to you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and just delete this because I don't need it. But I just wanted to show you guys that's how you can add a field. Okay, if you want to remove a field, like if you don't need their email, you can just hit on the trash icon right here. Okay, now also, let's go ahead and make one other change. You'll go over here to the settings tab. and you've got 4 different tabs that you guys can make changes to. The general tab is where you could say the form name, which doesn't really matter. They're not going to see it. That's just for you. But you got the submit button text. So on Elementor, you see how the button says send me a quote? If I click on this inside of Elementor, I have nowhere to edit the text of the button. As you can see, there's nowhere to edit the text that says send me a quote. You have to do that inside of here. So in the settings tab under general, you can change the text to say something else, like submit my button or submit or something like that. But send me a quote is fine. Under notifications, this is what I wanted to double check. Okay, and so the one that I wanted to make a change to is right here, the send to email address. So right now it's pulling your admin email using shortcode. And so what that means is when we created the website in step 1, when we were setting up your domain and hosting, whatever email that you entered in to create your WordPress account earlier on is the email that it's going to be sending these contact forms to. If you have a different email that you want and you don't want to use the same admin email, then you can go ahead and literally just type out whatever email you want. But if you guys want it to actually go to your admin email, then you can just leave it like that. I wanted to just show you guys that's where you can change the email. So anytime someone fills out this form and then clicks on send, it's going to send an email to this email. And so that's how contact forms work. It just sends it to your email and then you read it and you can respond to them because you have their email because it's right here. So they would give you the email. Anyways, so that's under the notifications tab. You can also you can customize how the email is going to look in your inbox. So you can say like the email subject line, it says new entry, simple contact form. So you guys could say, you know, simple contact form. You could change this to be like my business website or something like that. Whatever you guys want to do. You can change the from name and the from email as well, but I'll let you guys do whatever you want here. And then under the confirmations tab, you guys can change the little message that displays. So as soon as they hit send me a quote, this is going to display on the website. You guys can make a change. It's kind of pointless. It's already got something here, but whatever you want. All right, we're going to click on save, and then we can click on the X button, and it should take us back to our dashboard, but I already have this dashboard right here, so I'm just going to close out of this tab. And then we can go ahead and refresh this page with Elementor, just in case you guys made any changes to your contact form. So now it's live. But after that, we're pretty much done. We've made all of the changes to our homepage that we need to. Now it's looking like a web design website. So this is looking pretty good. I really like how it looks. So from here, I'm going to close out of Elementor, and we're back on our WordPress dashboard. So let's go ahead and open up our website on a new tab. And the way that you do that is you literally just click on the website name right here, or you visit site. I always right click and say open on a new tab. So from here, we just edited the homepage. So remember, in order to get into Elementor, we were looking at the homepage and then we clicked on edit with Elementor. Well, if you want to edit the other pages of your website, it's the exact same process. Go to the services page and then click on edit with Elementor. And now we're editing the services page. So from here, I'm not going to make too many changes because you guys already know how to. And I'm going to go a little bit faster on the things that I do change because you guys know what you're doing because we already made changes to the homepage. So to save a little bit of time in this tutorial, I'm going to move a little bit faster. You guys get the idea though. If you want to change the services page text, you can change it, but I mean, obviously this is the services page, so there's no reason. You guys know how to change these. You would just change the icon, text, and the description. So you guys can make those whatever you want. These, if you want to change them, you guys already know how to change pictures. It's really simple. You just click on it. For the image box, you can change the picture right here. And so you'd want these to be the exact same as the ones on your homepage. So this would say web design solutions. You'd change this picture. And you would say, I don't even remember what the services were. I'd have to go back to my homepage, but I'm just going to insert the pictures in really quickly, just so that this doesn't look like a security website. I want this to look like a web design website. Yeah, so there's that picture, mobile responsive picture, and the source code picture. There we go. Okay, we could also change this picture as well, this background image, and you guys know how to do that. You edit the section, enter in the same picture, so there's no police officers in the background, because obviously it's not a security website. And then I don't have 6 more pictures to put here. It looks like this is like a second promo section for like additional services, I guess. You guys can either use this section, put in your own pictures for 6 more services that you have, or just delete it like this. Done. Okay, and then the last thing is I can change this text. We could say that we do, as another service, we do web design training, I guess. Whatever you guys want, and then register today. Cool. Okay, I'm going to click on update to save, and services page is done. So now let's go ahead and open up our website. We're going to open up the about page and the contact page on new tabs just to save myself some time. Let's edit the about page with Elementor. Now, this would be a little bit more repetitive. You guys can enter in the same numbers from your homepage. You guys can enter them right here. You guys know how to change text by just clicking on it and typing, so I'll let you guys do that yourself. Down here, I'll change out this picture really quickly, and I don't remember, I think it's this one. Yeah, this is my about page image. So security solutions, and then we can change the actually, let me go ahead and edit this picture really quickly. You guys can edit any picture you want by clicking on edit image right here. And then if I want to, I can crop this to be a square. So I could go ahead and do this, apply the crop, save the edit. because if you remember, this picture was a perfect square, so that's what was there by default, and mine was a rectangle, so I just wanted to crop it to be a square, so now it is. Select. Oh, that's weird. Let's update and refresh the page really quickly, and it's probably going to fix that problem. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so it just took refreshing the page, and now it's good to go. Now what I can also do is just add some padding all the way around on this picture. Yeah, so something like this I think looks good. We'll kind of shrink the picture up a little bit. I can go to the Content tab, or is it the Style tab? Image. Yeah, here we go. So under the Style tab, under Image, I can add some spacing in between the text and the picture. So that looks better. And then I also want to round the edges, and by doing that, it'll look like this. So I can add some border radius, and so now the picture looks rounded. I think that looks a little bit more professional. Okay, so that's how you guys can change the picture. You guys already know how to do it. I just did it for you. And then if you want to change the text right here, you would just change it right here. Security solutions, so let's say web design solutions. You guys can use ChatGPT to add in your own little description for this part, because this is the about page. So this is where you would, instead of saying web design solutions, you could say how it all started. So something like this. Let's go to content, title, typography, and I'm going to change this to be capitalize. There we go. So now it capitalizes all my words for me. But you guys get the idea. I could say how it all started, and then right here, I could add multiple paragraphs underneath. So for example, I could take like this first paragraph right here, paste it right here, and then underneath, I could add some text widgets. For example, this is me just kind of getting creative, and I could add the rest of this massive about section. Remember this about section that we already made inside of ChatGPT? Well, I could paste it all down here, and I could just have like how it all started. Welcome to Austin Diestel. I did blah, 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 blah. And then down here is where it continues to keep writing. There we go. And so you guys get the idea. I could have, well, here, Control All. I was trying to make it look like a massive about page. There we go. So you guys get the idea. If you wanted to, you could continue typing more of your story down below if you really wanted to share it. I'm going to go ahead and just delete this. But I wanted to show you guys that, you know, this is the about page where they're going to go to learn more from the homepage. Because if you guys remember, on the homepage, right here on the left-hand side, we said, here's a little short description about me. And then if they want to learn more, it takes them to the about page. So this is probably where you would want to write out a lot more information about how you got started, your background, what's your expertise in, where do you have your experience, all of that information. This is where people learn more about you. So this is where you guys would put in that information. Down below, you've got testimonials, which you guys know how to edit. You just click on it and you can change the picture, the name right here, and then also what they actually say. And then these are those icon lists that are the same thing as this one on your homepage right here. So you guys remember editing those, you just click on it and then you can change the text. So you guys can put in your own bullet points right here. And that's the about page. So we can click on update to save and close out of that one. And now finally we have the contact page. So I'll edit with Elementor. And again, I'm going a little bit faster on these last couple pages because you guys already kind of know how to make changes in Elementor. So I don't want this tutorial to be too long. But again, you just click on the text right here and you guys can type in whatever you want. Text again and text again so you guys can make your changes. Over here on the right hand side, this is the exact same get a quote contact form that's on your homepage. So it's going to display in two different places. So any changes that you guys made to that form are going to appear here as well. So you don't have to worry about this one. Okay, now next we have these little icons right here. This is just text. So you guys can say keep in touch or check out my social media, whatever you guys want to type out. This, on the other hand, works very similar to that icon list because it's social icons right here. Same thing. You can reorder them by dragging them. So now Twitter's in the back. You can click on LinkedIn, for example, or, you know, you can click on whichever one you want. Click on LinkedIn. You guys can change the icon. So let's make this Instagram, for example. So instead of LinkedIn, I'm going to say Instagram. So now I've got my Instagram icon, as you can see, and then I could actually paste in my link. So I could go over here to Instagram.com. You guys remember, I would go over here, then I would log into my account, and then I would paste, you know, Instagram.com. I would copy and paste the URL right here. And then anytime someone clicked on the Instagram icon, it would go to my Instagram account. And then I would do the same thing for Facebook. So for Facebook, I would paste my Facebook URL. So I'd go over here and I go to Facebook.com. I would log in using my account, then I would copy the URL and I would paste it right here. And then the same thing with Twitter, paste my URL right here. And then anytime someone clicked on one of these icons, it would take them to my account so they can look at my, you know, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Okay, so that's how you guys can change that on the contact page. Scroll on down and we've got these three little icon boxes. Again, you guys know how to change these. You can change the icon right here. You change the text, head office, and then you can change the description right here, which is the address. You guys know how to change that. You can change email and email, phone number. You can change the actual phone number, and you can say phone number right here if you want. You guys know what you're doing. The last thing that we can make changes to is the Google Maps widget right here. If you actually try and click on it, you're going to interact with it. So if you want to make changes to the map, you have to actually click on the pencil icon right here, which says edit Google Maps, as you can see. And the only thing that you're going to do here is, right now it's set to Seattle, so that's perfect because we're pretending like Austin lives in Seattle. But if you want, you can change it to Austin, Texas. Basically treat this as a search bar, and it's using Google Maps to search for Austin, Texas. And so now I've got Austin right here, as you can see. I can change the zoom so I can zoom out if I want to. And so now it's zoomed out like crazy. And then I can also adjust the height of this map. Super simple. So once you're done with that, you can click on update to save your work, and we can close out of this because now, I mean, our website's pretty much complete. If you guys made all the changes, now we can just preview the website one more time, and you'll see that this website is completely different. Now it's a web designer website instead of a personal security website. Go to the services page, and we have all of our services in here. Go to the about page. And instead of a picture of an office, you actually might want a picture of yourself, like a picture of Austin, you know, the guy that's on our hero section. So, but anyways, that's the about page, and then the contact page, which we didn't make too many changes to, but now it's a zoomed out picture of Austin. So there you go. Okay, so now that we've made changes to the website page, like the actual meat and potatoes that are on the web page, now it's time to move on to the next step where I'm going to show you guys how to make changes to, well, it's not the next step, but the next portion of this, which is where I'm going to show you guys how to use the Astra theme to make changes to your header, which is this up here, with your logo, your navigation bar, and all of this. I'll show you how to make changes to your footer, which is all of this down below. And then I'm also going to show you guys how to make your own logo for free as well. So let's go ahead and move on. So I'm going to close out of this tab. We don't need ChatGPT anymore. So now we're back on our WordPress dashboard. All right, so in order to edit your header and footer, we're gonna go over here to the left-hand side under Appearance, and then we'll go over here to Customize. And so this is how we're gonna open up the customizer using the Astra theme. All right, guys? So when we open up the new tab, you'll see that we have kind of a similar setup to Elementor. We've got the website preview on the right-hand side, and then over here on the left-hand side is the Astra theme customizer. So when you guys are looking for a tutorial on how to use the Astra theme, this is what we're talking about right here. Now, again, you can't build web pages inside of Astra. You just can't do it. There might be an Astra page builder. I haven't really even looked into it, but it's not going to be anywhere near as good as Elementor. So Elementor is free, and you can make websites that look like this. So that's why I say use Elementor to build the page. And then Astra is just how we're going to make changes to this header, which, as you can see, there's the blue line separating it. And then down here, we're also going to make changes to the footer. So it's really simple to do. Okay, so up here, let's go ahead and first talk about how to build a logo for free. We'll just knock that out because it's the first thing right here is editing the logo. If you guys want to build a logo for free, we're going to go to a website called Logo Maker, but it's without the E. So Logo Maker, as you can see, without that E missing right there. We're going to click on Start My Design. From that homepage, you can also go up here to Templates, and you guys can check out a bunch of templates that they have. But I'll just build one from scratch for you guys really quickly. So when you click on Start My Design, that orange button in the middle, it'll take you to this page right here. Up in the top left corner, we can search from over 3 million different graphics that we can use to build a logo. I'm gonna click on Back to Canvas. Over here on the left-hand side, we've got basic functions like text, basic shapes like a square or a circle, as you can see. We've got the pencil icon, which is where you can draw custom stuff. That's brand new, by the way. We have the paint bucket and then the undo button. And then over here on the right-hand side is how we can select things like the circle. This is the saturation, so fully saturated, and then this is like black and white. And then I can change the color. And then I also have opacity. So if I were to put this on top of all of this, I can change the opacity. And so now you can kind of see, there we go. You can see the square through the circle, so if you want to change the opacity. And then we've got layers. So as you can see, the circle's in front of the square. If I change the square on top, now the square's in front. All right, so you guys get a basic idea. I'm going to highlight everything by clicking and dragging and then just clicking delete. Okay, let's just build a super basic logo. I'm going to search for a laptop icon, and let's just pick one. We'll just choose, I don't know. Let's just do this one. I think that's kind of cool. It's like three-dimensional-ish, as opposed to the other ones that kind of look 2D. Okay, so I've got my laptop logo right here, and then I'm gonna add some text just like this. You guys can get pretty creative with your logo, but I'm gonna be pretty simple here. So let's just choose the text right here. Let's just say Austin. I'm actually using his real name. Maybe I shouldn't. You know what? Let's just call it Levi Hagen. I don't know. Let's do it. So we're going to use my name, Levi Hagen. Now, when you guys are done adding your title right here, we can go ahead and choose the font up here in the top left corner. We've got the categories. So I can do scary, dark, decorative, pixel monospace. Let's just go simple and modern. And then I can choose the actual font. So let's just choose Archivo Black or whatever, however you say that. And then I can drag to make it a little bit bigger. And then I can also come over here to the styles button and I can choose letter spacing. So if I want to, space it out a little bit, I totally can. But I think that looks pretty good so far. So Levi Hagen right there. We'll change the text color to be black. And then we can add some more text
web designer, and we can change this to able, and then we can change this to be the same. Let's try and see the same color as the actual website. You guys could either eyeball it like this. You could kind of choose like the same kind of red color like this. You can just eyeball it. Or if you guys want to cheat code, you don't need to know how to do this. This is a little bit more complex, but I can inspect my web page, view the source code using Google DevTools, and you'll see right here, there we go. So it's F2382C is my color code. So if I click on this right here, you'll see it. That's my color code, Controller Command C. Again, you don't need to know how to do that. That's super complicated. That was me just cheating because I know how to do that. And I can paste my color code right there. So now I'm using the exact same color as the orange on my website. Again, you don't need to know how to do that. I just did that just to show you guys, just for fun. It's for fun. Okay, I'm gonna increase the letter spacing like this to make it look more like a subtitle. Increase the size until it kind of stretches to be the same size as this. And then we can kind of place this right here. Okay, there's my logo. Levi Hagan, web designer, we're good to go. So whenever you guys like the logo that you guys have completed, you can go over here to the top right corner and click on Save Logo. Actually, you know what I totally forgot? If you look at the logo on this website, it's white because on a dark background, it's easy to see that text. So what I'm gonna do is actually change this to be white, and then I'm gonna change this to be white as well. And just trust me. So you can't see it, but it's there. So now whenever you guys are ready to save your logo, you'll go over here to the Save Logo icon right here. Now, if you click on Download Options right here, it's going to try and make you pay for the logo because you're paying for the high resolution file right there. So it's like $29. I told you this is free, and it is. So don't click on that button. Instead, we're going to go download the low resolution PNG file. It's going to say, hey, enter in your email so that we can send it to you, accept the terms and conditions, and then send it for free. Kaboom. What did I say? It's free. Okay, so now that we've downloaded the logo for free, we don't really need this anymore. Well, actually, hang on a second. We'll go back to Logo Maker, start my design, and it should still be there. There we go. So we're going to say resume because there's one other thing that I want to show you guys how to do. So don't close out of this tab just yet. If you did, again, just go back to Logo Maker, hit start my design, and just like I did, it'll say, do you want to resume the previous logo? And just say yes. And so now we're back here. Okay, so once you've saved your logo, what we're going to do is, let me just do this so that you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to delete the text and keep the icon right here. And what we're going to do is build a favicon or a site icon. A favicon is this little guy right here on the tab. As you can see right now, you just have a globe icon, which is like the default whenever you don't have an icon. I'm going to show you guys how to put your own custom icon right there. So we're going to just make this a little bit bigger and just save this. And so again, download the low resolution file, enter in your email, and kaboom, it just sent it to you for free. So I'm going to close out of this tab now and go back to the Astra customizer. So from here, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up my email and download those two pictures. All right, so I went ahead and downloaded them. Let's go ahead and actually insert our logo. So what we're going to do is you can either click on the pencil icon and it'll directly take you to the settings, but I want to show you guys how to get there from the main menu. So from here, we're going to click on the header builder right here, and then you'll see site title and logo. And then from here, we're just going to enter in our own logo. So select a logo. I'm going to upload the file from my computer, and I just downloaded it. So there it is. Open. Okay, so there's my logo. I can click on select. It's going to ask if I want to crop my logo. I'm going to say skip. Okay, done. So now my logo is up there. And then what I can do is also go back and click on transparent header. And let's go ahead and put my logo right here. So I'm going to click on change image, select my logo, and you'll see your logo is still there because what we're doing is adding the logo to the transparent header and then also to the regular header as well. So it's just good practice to make sure you put it into both. Okay, so now you'll see that your logo is up top. We see Levi Hagan, web designer, and I've got my laptop icon right there. Let's go ahead and click on the publish button right here, which is basically the same thing as the update button inside of Elementor. It's going to publish your work, make it live on the internet, and save it. So we're good there. Okay, so back inside of site title and logo, we can scroll on down and you'll see site icon at the very bottom. And so we're just going to go ahead and click on site icon right here. And that's how we're going to add our favicon. So we can select the icon. I'm going to upload it from my computer because I also downloaded that one. And here it is. And we'll click on select. It's going to ask if you want to crop it. I'm going to say skip so that it uses the whole laptop. And now, as you can see, I've got my little laptop icon right there. So we'll click on publish. I can go back to my dashboard and refresh the page, and now it's going to show that icon as well. Cool. So now you've got your little your branded website tab, which looks good. Okay, so that's the first step to using the Astra customizer. We now have our logo up on our website as well as the icon right up here. Okay, so the next thing that we can use Astra for is to edit the navigation menu, which we really don't need to make any changes to, by the way, because we haven't added or deleted any pages. That's the only time you'd want to make changes to it, but I'm going to show you guys how to make changes to it regardless. We'll go back into the header builder, and from here, we have the primary menu down below. So the first thing that you can do when you're editing your entire header is you can rearrange it. So right now we've got got HTML, which is this. We've got the button, or the menu, which is this. And then we have the logo, which is this. If you want the logo in the middle, and then the primary menu on the right-hand side, kind of like most normal websites, or excuse me, I guess the logo is usually on the left. If you want to do the whole standard layout like this, you totally can. You can also put the logo right here, and you can put the primary menu down below. Some people will do this, where they have the logo in the middle and then the navigation below, or you can move them both up. So now this is in line with this. It's completely up to you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it the way that it is, where it's got the logo, navigation menu, and your little icon over here. So this over here is just HTML, and basically it's just text. You can't even see it right now. Control-Alt, because it's white text on a white background. But as you can see when I highlight it, it says, have any questions, and then the phone number. You guys can literally change the phone number by just typing. And now, as you can see, I just typed over the phone number. I personally don't think that's very good, so I'm gonna do something different. So what we're gonna do is delete this completely. And then by clicking on the little X button down here, and then I'm going to click on button. So now I've got a button up here, kind of similar to all of the buttons on my website, which I think looks a lot cooler. And then what we're going to do is we can actually edit the button to do something. So what we're going to do, oh, here we go. Click on the button right here. Instead of taking us to this link right here, what we're going to do is go over here to pages from our WordPress dashboard. And then we're going to go to the contact page and click on view. And then we're going to copy our URL. Controller Command C. This is what we would have had to do if Elementor didn't search for pages whenever you are editing a button, but Astra, on the other hand, does not. So if I were to go right here under the link button and then search for the contact page, you'll see nothing's gonna happen because Astra is not as fancy as Elementor, just so you know. So that's why we had to go and copy our URL so that we can paste it right here. So now this button, when you click on it, just like this, is gonna take you to the contact page. Oh, that's because I accidentally put an F right here when I pasted it. Okay, publish. Now when you click on the button, it's gonna take you to the contact page. Perfect. So now we have a reason to edit the navigation menu, because I'm going to remove the contact button. But before I do that, let's go ahead and put text right here. So I'm going to change button, and let's just say, so just like on our contact form, it says send me a quote or get a quote. This is going to say get a quote, publish. Okay, so now let's go ahead and edit the navigation menu. So we'll go to primary menu, and we can configure the menu from here. And so now we're going to click on primary. Oh, not primary, sorry. These are the menu locations. We don't need that. What we're going to do is go over here to the primary menu. And again, what I did was whenever I clicked on here, let me show you guys one more time. I went a little fast there. So let's just go back to the main menu. We'll go into header builder. We want to edit the primary menu. So we're going to click on primary menu, and then we're going to configure the menu. Now from here, we're on view all locations. That's not what we need. So click on the back button, and we're going to click on primary. And now as you can see, we've got home services about contact, home services about contact. So if I want to rearrange it, I could put contact in front, and you'll see it says contact home services about. You guys get the idea? What I'm going to do is actually just completely remove this. There we go. I'm going to click on it and say remove. And now I've removed it from my menu. So now they've got home services about, and then contact is the button right here. You guys see what I did there? So that's what we can do. So now I'm going to click on publish to save my work, and we are good to go. So now whenever someone goes to my website, they're going to see home about services and then get a quote right here. So they can click on get a quote, and it takes them to the quote page where they can request a estimate right here using the contact form. So that's pretty cool. I think it looks good. Now, for those of you who don't like that the get a quote button is red, it might be a little hard to see. If you guys want to make it white, you can. We'll go back into the header builder, click on button, go to the design tab right here, and you guys can change the text color and background color. So the background color can be white if you want it to be. Text color can be white. Oh, just kidding. Not the background color. The border color can be white. And so now, as you can see, I changed it from red to white. So that's totally up to you guys if you want. If you don't want to do that, you can just refresh or reset like this, and now it goes back to red. Okay, so that is the header, and we're done. We've already got our logo, navigation menu, and the button all edited, so that's done. Next, we can go down to the footer of the website, which is down below. But before I jump into the footer of the website, let me actually show you guys one thing. If you guys want to change the color of the entire website, you can do it all from the global settings right here inside of Astra. And so the way that you guys do that is, obviously, you click on global, and then you go to colors, and you'll see that the colors are this red color right here. Watch this. If I change this red color right here to blue, is that my hover color? No, it is not. Okay, well, what we're gonna do is copy this, Command C. We'll paste it right here, Command V. No, we're gonna paste it right here, Command V, and then we'll drag it over a little bit. Why is that not working? All right, let me try refreshing the page. Sometimes this glitches out. It happens to the best of us. There we go. We're gonna go back into global, colors. There we go. I don't know why that wasn't working. Okay, so that was about the color palette that we had originally. Now, if I change this orange color, so let me show you guys. We're gonna click on it. I'm going to copy the color code first this time. So now if I change the color to blue, you'll see that everywhere that was orange is now blue. And so with literally one click of a button, again, if I go to the services page, it's going to be blue. See the blue color. With one click of a button, you can change the entire theme of your website, depending on what your company colors are. So now I can change it to, pink. It's going to change everywhere to pink now. I could change it to red again. I could go to yellow if I wanted to. So now everything's yellow. And so just right off the bat, you guys can change the design of your website instantly by just changing the color, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to paste back that same red color that we had originally and click on publish to save. And we'll go back to the main menu. But I just wanted to show you guys that if you don't like the color that came with the template, you can always change it and keep the same design of your website, which is pretty cool. So that's the global colors. Okay, so now let's go ahead and edit the footer of your website. We can go over here to the footer builder. And now the footer that they have for this template has got a lot going on. All right, so we've got over here, or down below, we've got a visual representation of what's happening above. So on the left, we've got these two, which is these two right here. We've got widget 1, which is this, widget 2, which is this, and widget 3, which is this. And then down below, you've got copyright and HTML. And so you've got copyright and HTML. So there's your visual representation of what's going on. If we click on the first one, so HTML, you're going to see it's got a picture, which is the logo, and then it's got the text right here, which is the text. The social icons are the social icons right down below. So for social icons, it's the exact same as the social icons that are on your, I think, contact page. Let's see if it's the contact page. Yeah, so these icons that I showed you guys how to edit are the exact same as these down below. So if you want to rearrange them, you rearrange them. So as you can see, they're getting rearranged. Click on it, and you've got the label and the URL. So the URL, you would just go to your Google Reviews account, over on a new tab, paste the URL. You've got a LinkedIn account, you go to a new tab, find your account, copy the URL, and paste it right here. If you want to add a new one like Instagram, you just do the drop down, select Instagram, say add, and now you have Instagram. If you have another one and you want to add, your email, you can add an email. And now they've got an email to link. If you want to add another one and you want to do Reddit, you can add your Reddit account. And you guys get the idea. You can add as many as you want down here. And you would just go to your Instagram account and paste your URL. Okay, to edit this up here, let's first go ahead and paste in our logo. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this by clicking on edit. And we're going to replace the image with our logo instead. So now our logo is in the footer instead, which I think looks better. And then you can drag this to make it a little bit smaller if you want to, just so that it fits, because my logo is a little bit bigger than their original, I guess. Okay, I think that's pretty perfect. There we go. So I've got my logo in there. We can click on publish, and then you guys can change the little slogan that you might have, like Levi Hagen Web Design. We make web design easy, or something like that, whatever you want. Okay, so next we've got widget 1, which is the first of 3 different lists. And so let me show you guys really quickly. We're going to go back to the main menu. If you go down to all of the menus that are on your website right here, we have the primary menu, which is the one that goes up on top up here. We've got the footer about menu, which is probably this one, or excuse me, this one right here. We've got the footer services menu, which is this one right here. And then we have the mobile off-canvas menu, which is for the phone view, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. So those are the menus on your website. If I click on this one, you'll see that the about menu is right here. About training careers contact, about training careers contact. If you guys want, you know what, actually, to make this really simple, because I don't want to show you guys how to create multiple menus, that could get kind of complicated and it'll make this go way too long. Instead, what we're going to do is go to the footer menu, and we're just going to delete both of these 2 center menus. So these 2 right here, we don't need them. We're just going to delete them. There's no point in having them. So now we've got a really clean footer. We've got our logo, slogan, and all of our socials. And then over here on the right-hand side, we can just enter in all of our business information. So for widget 3, we can go ahead and change the text from address. We could change it to business info. So now it says business info. And then we can have our address, our email, and our phone number. Perfect. That way they can get in contact with us if they really need to. Let's make this simple, and we're going to leave our footer just like this. If you guys want to change the copyright down below, you just click on copyright, and you'll see it's just taking the copyright logo from shortcode. It's taking the current year from shortcode, so it's 2023, and then the site title. You guys can change the text to literally be whatever you want. You literally just start typing. So I'll let you guys do your own copyright. And then over here is just HTML, which HTML is basically just text, but you've got powered by and then the site title. So you guys can change that too if you want. Okay, so I'm going to click on publish to save our work. Our header and our footer are both done, and I've also shown you guys how to make color changes to your entire website. That's pretty much the only things that you're going to use the Astra customizer for. So the Astra theme is really only only to edit the header and the footer of the website. Other than that, because this isn't a blogging website, you're not going to use breadcrumbs, blogs. Page layouts are only for blog posts as well because we're using Elementor, so this doesn't have any effect on your website because you didn't create your website with Astra. And then sidebars are only applicable if you had like a e-commerce website or a blog website, so you're not going to need the sidebar either. So that's all of these in between. We already went over global because that's where your colors are. You can change your global typography if you want to, and that will change the typography, but we already chose the typography at the beginning when we downloaded the template, so there's not really any point to this. And it's already built into the template, so you don't have to make changes, which is kind of nice. You can change how the buttons look, so right now they're all squares, but if you want, you can change them to circles. And then now it's going to use like this whole rounded look. I'll let you guys pick whatever you want. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. So I'm going to click on the reset button and then click on publish to save. Also, I don't know why the button's doing this, get a, and then it took off quote. Let's go double check that really quickly. Oh, that's why I just deleted quote for some reason. All right, we'll put in quote and publish. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, we're pretty much done. Our header and footer is done, and so is the rest of our website. So I'm gonna go ahead and just close out of the Astra customizer and go back to the WordPress dashboard.
All right, anytime you make changes to your website, it's always a good idea to go back and check the other versions of your website to make sure that everything looks good. And when I say the other versions, I just mean checking your mobile responsiveness. If you think about it, people can visit your website on all sorts of different sizes of screens. For example, your laptop screen is a horizontal rectangle like this, and your phone, on the other hand, is more of a vertical rectangle like this. Now, powerful web builders like Elementor will allow you to make multiple versions of your website so that you look good on all viewing platforms. I know this sounds complicated, but trust me, it's a lot easier than it actually sounds. When you downloaded the website template, it already came ready to go for all mobile responsive modes. I highly doubt that any of the changes that we made today affected the mobile version at all. But anyways, it's always a good idea to double check.
So in order to double check our mobile responsive mode, it's really simple. We're gonna go open up Elementor again. So we're gonna open up our website on a new tab just like this, and we'll click on edit with Elementor. And you'll have to do this with each individual page. So just like we opened up the homepage, the about, the services, and the contact page, and one by one we opened Elementor to edit them, you'll have to do the same thing for the mobile responsive mode, but luckily the mobile responsive mode should be fine. This website template, if you didn't download a template and you built all this from scratch, you'd have to build your website 3 times. And let me show you why. Over here, next to the update button, you've got the responsive mode button. It's gonna open up this ribbon right here, and you'll see that we've got desktop view, tablet view, and mobile view. So if you built this from scratch and you didn't use the template, the template is already built to be responsive to all 3 modes. If you didn't, you would have to build the desktop version. Then you'd have to go and rearrange everything for the tablet version or laptop version. Then you have to go and rearrange everything for the mobile version. Takes forever. Building from scratch is not fun. I wouldn't recommend it, and I don't even do that as a pro. I usually use, I'll download a template so that it saves me all that time, and I'll just make customizational changes to the template like what we did today. So that's just how I do it, even when I'm building websites for clients. So anyways, now that we're inside of Elementor's responsive mode, we can go over here and check our mobile responsive mode just to double check that everything looks good, right? One thing that I don't like is how big this text is. It's kind of taking up my picture in the background. So what I can do is make a change to the text size. Now you'll notice that if I go over here to the style tab and click on typography, this is my size right here. If I want to edit the size, you'll notice that there's a little mobile icon. This means that I'm making changes to the mobile version. It's not going to change the desktop version. So let me show you guys. If I shrink the text size to be a little bit more, I think that looks much better. Let me go in a little smaller like this. There we go. Now you can kind of see his face. It looks a little bit better rather than just having like massive text in your face. That just looks like it was incorrectly sized. So now we've got this right here. If I make a change and shrink the text on the mobile view, if I go back to desktop, it's still the exact same, by the way. So when you make changes to one version, it's not going to make changes to the other version, as long as whatever setting you're changing has the little icon right here. So for instance, these 3 would change mobile and exclusively change mobile. It wouldn't touch desktop. But if I change the style, you'll notice that it doesn't have that little icon right there. So if I change the style, it would change it for all 3 versions. So that's how you guys can make changes. But anyways, the rest of this should look good. So if I scroll on down, we've got this section that's kind of cut in half with the red and white. You guys can leave that, or if you want to, you can make a change to it. I'm gonna leave it because that's how the default template comes, but you guys can change that if you want to. We'll scroll on down, and then down below, they have the counters right here, which everything looks good. I'm basically just scrolling down to make sure that nothing is like incorrectly sized. So for example, If this text looked like this as I'm scrolling through, I'd be like, whoa, I must have made a change to that on the desktop version, but on the mobile version, it messed it up. So then I'll come over here and I'll make a change to it really quickly, reduce the size, and then I'd say, okay, good, we're done. But I don't think there's going to be any more changes that we need to do because, again, the template was built for this. So even if you changed the text, it should be resized on mobile automatically. But we'll scroll on down. Everything looks like it's stacked vertically just fine. I think it looks great. All of these stacked correctly as well. So did the testimonials, and so did the contact section. And then our footer actually looks good as well, which it's important to always check your footer as well, just to make sure everything stacks correctly, but it looks fine. And then there's our copyright, so that looks good. And then you'll notice that, well, you won't notice inside of Elementor. Let me go ahead and update to save my work. I'm going to preview the website, and I'm going to make this its own tab. And let's go ahead and shrink this down really quickly to make it look like mobile responsive mode. Now you'll notice that as I change, it's going to switch between, so this is desktop. It just switched to the laptop version or the tablet version. And now it just switched. You see how the text changed size? It just changed to the mobile version. So it's responsive to how big the window is, which is really cool. And that's what these three modes are up here. So as you can see, remember we made that change to the text, and the second it changes from tablet to mobile, you'll see that now it has that smaller text right there, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now we're viewing it in the mobile view. You'll notice that we have this little hamburger icon. We don't actually have our menu up on top. And that's because this is our off-canvas menu, which is that menu that I was showing you guys inside of the Astra customizer for a split second. So if I go back to the customizer, you don't have to follow along with me. I just want to show you. We were inside of the header builder, and we were looking at the primary menu. We have the mobile menu. So primary menu only has home, services, about. But the mobile menu has home, services, about, and contact, because the mobile menu doesn't have this button right here. So as you can see, let me go ahead and pull up that secondary page. When I have this secondary page right here, this off-canvas menu right here is home, about, services, and contact. It doesn't have that little button. So really important to show you guys that. But again, the template already had this off-canvas menu built in, and it works. So if I click on contact, it goes to the contact page, about page, looks good. And so does the services page. It all looks good. So it's always good to double check your mobile responsive mode, but it's not necessary if you already downloaded a template because, you know, it's going to be good to go. So now that we've checked our responsive modes, we can close out of the responsive ribbon right there by clicking on the X. Make sure that your changes are saved by clicking on the update button, and then we can close out of these tabs and go back to our WordPress dashboard.
Now that you've built your website using Elementor and Astra, you might want to check out this video right here where I show you guys how to make your website less boring. Let's be honest. If this is your first website build, chances are it's not as flashy as the best websites out there. But hopefully this video will help you to make some of the simple changes that can add some flair to your website and attract new visitors. I talk about adding motion effects and a whole bunch of other stuff, so I'll see you guys there.